this is Wasim. Welcome back to my channel Wagon Picks. Hope you are all doing great. We are into the 12th tutorial of the JavaScript series, and topic of today's discussion is objects. Objects in JavaScript. Okay, so so in JavaScript, objects plays a very important role. Like we can perform many different tasks with objects, and objects are heavily used in JavaScript application, so you need to understand this thoroughly. So I have made this topic very easy for you. I not included some in-depth topics. We will go through that into a later tutorial. So in this tutorial I have included only the basic topics to understand the object. Okay, so the topics which we will be covering in this tutorial are, we'll first see introduction to objects, like how we will define an object and what are objects, and we'll see how to add a property. Okay, and properties are elements or parts of the objects. We'll see how to add those parts, and we will see how we can change the added parts of an object, and finally we'll see simply how to delete an property. Simple four topics we'll go through. Okay, and with this you will be able to understand what are objects, and going forward in a later tutorial we will go through some in-depth topics like destructuring and all. So to start with, in this topic we will take a real life examples. What do we mean by object, so in our day to day life we are all surrounded by objects, right? So objects like laptop, it might be tree or a calculator, whatever you have, whatever you see around yourself. Like if you are watching this tutorial on a mobile phone or a laptop, so that is an object. That is an object. You might be sitting on a chair, so chair is an object. And there might be a water bottle around you, so that is an object, right? So similarly, in our coding world we need objects. Okay, so what do you want objects for in a real life? To perform certain actions, right? So as you are watching this tutorial through your mobile phone or laptop, you are learning something, yeah, right? You are performing some task. So similarly, in coding world, in programming world, you need to define an object, and you can use that object whenever required. Okay, so this is what an object is. Okay, to relate with the real life example. So to go ahead with, let us take an object. Let us take this laptop as an object. And if we take laptop as an object, how do we define a laptop? Okay, so laptop can be defined in multiple ways, right? We can say that it is used to perform a task, and this has this parts, right? So physical appearance, you can define, or you can define the laptop through its performance, right? So it can be defined in many ways. So we will take an example to define a laptop with the physical appearance. Okay, so in this case we will see that laptop has parts. So part first include camera, part 2 includes keyboard, and it has base panel, touchpad, optical drive, screen, and top panel. Okay, we will take these parts, and these parts when combined together forms a laptop, right? So similarly, in our coding world, we need to, when we want to define an object, we need to define a properties of that object. Okay, so the property which we are defining for that object, so these are the properties. The parts of this laptop are properties. So in our program, when I define an object, I need to define a properties for that. So what exactly the object is made of. Okay, so how do we define an object and its properties in JavaScript code? It is somewhat defined like this. Okay, so I will go through this in depth detail. I'm just showing you the syntax, how an object is defined. So this is the variable, like we have defined this object name, and taken this as constant variable, and this this entire line is a property, is one property of this object. You can add similar properties into this object, but we have taken one property, and this one is called key, key of this property, and this is called value of this property. Okay, so this is all about the syntax. So let us go and see the example in our code. Okay, so this is our base code ready with us. I will quickly show you. uh, this is reflecting hello. So for those who have directly jumped to this topic, I have already explained all the basic steps, like the HTML tags and title and all. So you can go through my previous tutorials and you can see all the details. In this tutorial we will be only focusing on JavaScript code. Okay, so first line is to define this script tag. Okay, in this tag we will write our JavaScript code. Okay, so we will take the same laptop example. Okay, so I will take a constant variable, constant. Let us name this as laptop. Okay, so this is what object is. I know that we have not entered any properties, but this is an object. Okay, we have already defined the object. So to show you in console, okay, so see here it is showing as object. So here it is showing as object. Okay, so we have already defined an object, and now we will define properties of this object. Okay, so now let us take the key value as part 1. Okay, and part 1, what was the part 1? We'll take camera. So this is stored as string, so I have included this into invited commas. So I need to separate each property with this comma. Next key is part 2 and keyboard. Make sure you need to insert this comma. If you won't insert, then there will be an error. Part 3, okay, base panel. Okay, similarly you can enter the other topics. Properties, I will take only 3 properties. And now we have defined an object, and this object has 3 properties. Simple. Okay, I am just printing this object. See here, we have got the keys and values of this property. Okay, now this is all about defining an object. Okay, so now if you have a situation where you want to pick up a specific property, okay, you want to print only camera, you don't want other parts, you just want a first part of this object, that is first property of this object. So how can you do that? You can just type the object name, point, just enter the key name of which value you want to be printed. So here we got this camera. Okay, similarly you can access the other values. Okay, so this is how we can access the values of an object. So next step is this. You can also define uh, you can also access this value with another approach. You can use a bracket. Okay, part 1. Okay, so this is part 1 is not defined. Why it is showing as part 1 is not defined? Oh yes, the problem is we need to include this into invited commas. Okay, so here we have so we have two approach. We saw two approach. The first approach was to access the value. We saw dot approach, that laptop dot part one to access camera. And second approach was to have this bracket approach, where we can access the value with a object name followed by the key value inside the bracket. Okay, so these two are the type which are used to access the values. But in certain cases we cannot use the dot we cannot use the uh, dot approach. For example, if suppose the value of the key of this first property is stored in some other variable, like I will take this a new constant variable part and will store part 1 in this. Okay, and so now I have to access this part, the first property. So what I can do, I can directly use part. Okay, now I can access this camera with not this key value, but with part value. Okay, so see here, so we have got this camera. Okay, so if we use a dot operator, it will not work. Okay, see here, if I use dot operator, it will throw an error. It will show undefined. Okay, so in some cases we need to use brackets, and in some cases we need to use dot. So normally usually we use dots as to access the values, but in certain cases we also have to use this bracket operators. So this was about accessing the value from the object. Now we will see how to add a new property into an object. How can we do that? So suppose this is let us assume that we want to add fourth part. Okay, how can we do that? Simple, laptop dot part 4 4. What is the fourth point? Touchpad. Okay, okay, so what I have done, I have just inserted the fourth part, that is touchpad, into this laptop object. So I will quickly print this out. So here we have got the fourth property added into this object. So similarly, if I want to edit some of the values, so I can do that as well. Simple, I will do laptop dot part 4 new pad. Okay, so new touchpad. Okay, the value has been updated. So this is all about the object definition and accessing the object values. So there was one more point which I wanted to add in this. So you can these are all the data types, right? So we have taken this as string. You can also take a number. Okay, so to uh, dimension, okay, 32. Okay, so this is stored as number. You can see over here. So this is stored as number, dimension 32. Okay, so similarly you can add different data types in this, and also you can take a property as an array. You can insert an array as a property, or you can also add another object as a property or a function. So that is the beauty of a function. You can add anything in that, and that it becomes a property of that object. For example, I will need to put a comma. Okay, so I will take one more property as an object, part new. Okay, we'll take this as new, and I will take an object. Okay, so I will take color. The color is black, and let us take length. Length is 4. Okay, so this is what we have done. We have added an object, different object, inside this object as a property. Okay, so here we have, okay, we have got these as properties, and this property is again an object. Okay, just and to access this inside property, you just need to laptop dot part new dot, you can access the color. Okay, so we got this black color. Okay, so this is how you can customize your objects. Okay, so here we are updating a constant object. So we cannot update a constant just defined as a variable. We cannot change that object, but in case of object, if you define that as a constant, we can change the internal values. So this was all about the objects. uh, let me know if you have any questions and concerns. I will come up with the answers. So thank you for being on this tutorial, and have a great day.